The world has bid a final farewell to America's pastor, the Reverend Billy Graham. Before he was laid to rest beside his wife in Charlotte, North Carolina, thousands of people stood in line at the U.S. Capitol to pay their last respects. Graham was the first religious figure to lie in honor in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, a fitting show of respect for an American who changed millions of lives and was beloved by people around the world. From the global lane, we pay final tribute to one of the greatest evangelists the world has ever known. And we offer some personal thoughts and reflections. As a child, I first saw Billy Graham on television. The seeds of salvation were planted in my heart.
You come right now, quickly. While every head is bowed in prayer and the choir sings softly just as I am, hundreds are already coming from everywhere. You come with us.
In the 1960s, I joined my parents in a civil rights march down Saginaw Street in Flint, Michigan. I later learned that Billy Graham had already insisted on racial integration and unity at his meetings and crusades.
But when God looks at you, he doesn't look on the outward appearance. The Bible says he looks upon the heart.
Don't ever say it's a white man's religion or a black man's religion. Christ belongs to all people. He belongs to the whole world.
In 1974, when I started my career as a disc jockey at Flint radio station WKMF, we often would broadcast a Billy Graham program called The Hour of Decision.
We are told to make our messages relevant. There's nothing more relevant than to proclaim the unsearchable riches of Christ. The methods of presenting the gospel may change, but the message never changes. God is unchanging.
Later in the 1980s and again in 1990, I had the privilege of meeting and talking with Billy at CBN's Washington Bureau and at Germany's Berlin Wall. Although he met, prayed with, and counseled every American president since Harry Truman, I got the impression that Reverend Graham wasn't really concerned about politics. I think he viewed it as a distraction. Yes, Billy Graham had only one thing on his mind, and that was telling people about Jesus. And like Mother Teresa, he treated everyone with the same respect. Government leaders were treated no differently than the poorest of poor. Why? Because Billy viewed people everywhere through the eyes of Christ. He didn't see the color of their skin or their position in life. He looked deep into their hearts. He believed that every human being had a hole there that needed to be filled, a longing and a desire to know and be close to the Creator, the one who gave us life. In his final newspaper column, Billy Graham said he wanted to be remembered as someone who was faithful to God, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and faithful to the calling God gave him, not only as an evangelist, but as a father, a husband, and friend. Billy, you were America's pastor, our friend, and we'll miss you, but we know that when you passed into heaven, you were likely greeted by Christ with the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Well done indeed. And Reverend Graham never missed an opportunity to invite people to receive Christ. The last two lines of his final newspaper column are this: "Do you know you will go to heaven when you die? You can by committing your life to Christ today." Like Billy Graham, may we all answer the invitation, so when our life ends, we can join him in heaven and hear those words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Well, that's it from the Global Lane this week. Follow us on Facebook, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Twitter. And until next time, be blessed.